5 days since my husband passed away. I kind of have the shakes a little here. It's 3:25 in the morning. I got up at 2 a.m. and it's been 3 days since my last video, and the reason why I am putting this out there is because I think it'll help me a lot with trying to get through this very difficult time. It's the most difficult time I've ever had to face in my life. I have 8 children with my husband. Our eldest is 20 years old. Our youngest is 17 months. And my husband, who was 70, he passed away suddenly. And there's no will. And I don't have any family members to go to. Like I said in one of my previous videos, there isn't anybody. I don't have any friends. I don't have any family members or his family members to go to. It's just us. So the update here is I've been really busy, like really busy, because when I found out that where I live in Canada, it's called FACS, and in the US it's called CPS, Child Protective Services. In Canada, it's Families and Children's Services, and in a situation like this, they're automatically called. So I haven't told my children yet that my husband's dead, their father is dead, and that's because I'm trying to give them time to ease into this new situation, this new lifestyle. As far as they think right now, they think he's still in the hospital, and they remember when I was in the hospital with the baby. I was in the hospital for 5 days with the baby. So to them right now, they think this is normal, that Daddy's in the hospital, and they think he's getting looked after. He is still at the hospital, but they had to do an autopsy, and that's been done now. Like the day after they did the autopsy, so it's been 4 days now, and he's been there at the hospital, I guess just in the morgue, waiting. I've had to contact a funeral home, and all of us frantically cleaned up the house on Wednesday. I shared with you my plans, what I did Monday, what I did Tuesday. Wednesday, we frantically cleaned the house because I spoke to a family lawyer, and she told me that they're coming in the house no matter what. Now, the reason why I didn't want them to come in the house initially was because it was really messy and really dirty. So we've been frantically cleaning up the house because we want them to come in and see everything's okay, because I prioritize my children's care over housework. So yes, the house is dirty, the house is messy, but that's because I prioritize brushing their teeth. I prioritize, my children over doing housework. So, and my husband was unable to do a lot of the housework himself. He was 70 years old. He had a disc degenerative disease in his back, so he couldn't stand very long. And he was on a bunch of prescriptions, and he slept a lot. And so I guess because he slept a lot and I had to manage a lot on my own these couple last years, I'm thinking that's why the kids are okay right now, So far they haven't been asking me a lot, where's Daddy, which is good. I think they just think he's going to come home when he's done, just as I came home when the baby and I were in the hospital, and there was no visiting at that time because it was over a year ago I was in the hospital, right? It was, it was during 2022, so I don't think there was any visiting allowed back then. So they expect the same now. I think that's why they know that we aren't going to visit, because they couldn't when I had the baby in the hospital. That wasn't allowed back then. So if you're wondering why I hadn't told them yet, it's because I consulted my eldest son. My husband and I, we had 8 children in our 20-year-long marriage. And this was a time I'd always been dreading for all those 20 years. And so far things are functioning okay. So my son and my 2 eldest sons, 18 and 20, we discussed it, and my 18-year-old son, he just thought that, don't tell them, give them time to adjust, and then they'll figure it out eventually themselves. I think it won't come to that point. I think I'll have to tell them at some point, but right now they still don't know. Okay, battery's running out. I gotta change battery. Every day I've been nervous. Every day I've been shaking a little, and like, I don't know. Well, I think you can see that there. And the day before yesterday, I told our 15-year-old son, he asked me, because there were some papers on the table, and you see, fax, which is the same as CPS in the US, they came to our door. They wanted to see the children. Now, I was out running errands with my other 2 sons, you know, going to the bank, stuff like that, and they came to the door and they said, sorry for your loss. And someone's trying to come in, and my Adonis, my 15-year-old, he didn't know what they were talking about, but there were some papers left in the mailbox, and I thought that these papers were from the street, you know. I thought the whole street got these papers, because there was a picture of children smiling on it, and it said music or something on it. So I thought, oh, I don't need to read this right now. I'm just going to put it on the table, in the kitchen table. I thought it was from like the local club or something. We have like a club around here. And so I left it on the table. And later on, Adonis looked at it, and he saw that there was a support group for grieving children. And what it was is they gave an example that my pet passed away, you know. This is our second youngest, Empress. She's 3. August 2nd, she'll be 4. And I don't know if it's going to be a happy birthday. I hope so.
Rainbow Dash cake.
Yes, she wants a Rainbow Dash cake. That's what she's saying, Rainbow Dash cake. She just had some chicken nuggets to eat here. So I had to tell him, and I told him, I said, Adonis, I didn't want you to find out this way. And I called his older brother, his 18-year-old brother, his 20-year-old brother. Julius is 18, Arian is 20, and I got them to be with us when I told him. And I said, do you remember when I told you Daddy's not getting better? He said, yes. Do you remember when I told you he was at the hospital in the next city? He said, yes. And I told him that, I said, all of that is true. But, you know, I told him, you know, that Julius and Arian were there when he passed at the hospital. And that we decided that this is what we would do, and that we wanted him to ease into it, you know, before he found out. And yeah, that's a little paper. So anyhow, he was okay. He didn't cry, but he did get teary-eyed at the start when he said to me, why is everybody pretending that Daddy's dead? D-E-A-D. Okay, why is everybody pretending that he's D-E-A-D? And so he found out now why, and he said, oh, I was wondering why everybody was giving up so soon. That's what he said, you know. Now, he did have some panic attacks years ago, and he was on a prescription. He saw a child psychologist for that, and since then he had gotten over it. That was a whole nother thing there. Essentially what happened is he was having panic attacks. What happened is when they were doing these lockdown drills at school, he thought it was a real lockdown, and he was afraid. Like back then he was in grade 3. This is what caused the panic attacks and the anxiety and all of that stuff. He thought it was a real lockdown, and he thought that they would be crashing through the windows and killing everybody. So that was traumatic for him. He was in grade 3, and it took him years to get over it, because these drills they do, you know, several times a year. So it's like they're preparing for this to happen. So he thought that it was actually going to happen. He didn't realize it was just a practice drill. So now that he's over that and he had recuperated from that, I'm hoping that he doesn't have to go back to prescriptions and that he doesn't have to go back to seeing a psychiatrist. So far he's been okay, but you know, the emotion can hit them later. Like my eldest son, my 18-year-old son, they're doing really well. We're getting a lot done. We work very well together, our family, because we're a close-knit family. And I guess our daily routine hasn't changed, except for the fact that my Julius, my 18-year-old, is the one driving. I don't have a driver's license. So, she's making funny faces. So other than that, their routine doesn't change. I'm still the one to brush her teeth. I'm still the one to help her with her bathroom, you know? All of that stuff. I still change the baby. All of that stuff doesn't change. So I think that's why things are going well. And so, back to what I was saying about frantically cleaning the house. So, since they could come in no matter what, I spoke to the family lawyer. She said they can come in 3 ways. Either permission, get a court order, or forcefully if they think a child's in trouble. Now, fortunately, I'm going by... Yeah, you can color on paper in a minute. Here. The police hadn't told him how messy the house is. This is a routine because they did come back. And my son answered the door, Julius, and told them that right now is not a good time. So, they made an appointment to come back Monday at 3:30 in the afternoon. So, before that appointment was made, we were frantically cleaning up the house as best as we could so that, you know, we don't get in trouble. It needed to be cleaned up anyway, so that's why I wasn't in a rush the first 2 days, because I knew I was going to be cleaning the house anyway. But then on the 3rd day, when I found out that, or maybe it was Tuesday when I called the lawyer, that they're going to be coming in no matter what, and I'm not going to leave it to the point where they have to get a court order, you know, because that looks really, really bad. It looks like you have something to hide. Emperors don't. And so we are all frantically cleaning the house, and we're still cleaning the house. We want to make it look really good. And also the busyness really helps too. It helps me cope. If I had nothing to do, I think I would go crazy, you know? So the busyness helps, and it's nice getting the house cleaned up today. Now, yesterday I spent a lot of time contacting the funeral home, asking questions, all of those things. The day before that, Thursday, I contacted Ontario Works to pay for the burial and stuff like that. My husband, I told you, didn't want to be buried. He didn't want to be cremated. He wanted to be in a mausoleum, and he mentions that on one of the videos I posted where he's talking about zombie movies. He mentions he wants a mausoleum. Now, I thought a mausoleum would cost like $100,000 because I was looking at like those individual ones, like the stone ones in the cemetery. And so we don't have $100,000. But a mausoleum, I found out yesterday, could be like $8,000 and up. And it's very, very important to us to do this because half of us were undecided. 2 of us, our elder sons, my 3 elder sons and myself, 2 of us were for burial because they saw cremation as a way of reducing the body or destroying the body. The other 2 of us, my eldest and I, we were for cremation because we wanted to have him with us in the home. So we were undecided, you know, it was like a deadlock. So this mausoleum is what he wanted. It's really the best solution. We might be able to manage somehow, you know, to do this. And this will be great for everybody because it's what he wanted. And it's a way for all of us to be at peace with the subject because we'll all have what we want, you know. I mean, we won't, Aaron and I, we won't have him in the house with us, but we know that he's somewhere to rest and that's what he wanted. So that'll bring us peace. He's getting what he wanted, you know. So that's what we got to do today is check out the place, the mausoleum, and the total cost, everything for that. And I also have to contact an estate lawyer because there was no will, and we have our 8 children still, so young, and I want to know if the stuff that he has his name on, can I take that money out? I mean, I'm naturally his next of kin, or I'm naturally would be the power of attorney. Am I allowed to take that out? I don't want to get charged for fraud or anything. That would be terrible. Going in jail at this terrible time, I'm not going to take that risk. So I'll call the pro bono or whatever it's called to talk for low-income people, to talk to a lawyer for free. And I canceled my dentist appointment because I tried to fit that in quick because I thought we would only have coverage till the end of the month now, but I spoke to our worker. My husband was on disability, so I spoke to our disability worker. She says she can keep us on for 3 more months. So now there's not a rush for my teeth to be covered, dental costs to be covered. And it doesn't make any sense. We are so busy. We still got to clean up the house, you know. Excuse me. I think I still have like a slight bit of like COVID. I did post that too. It took us a long time to finally catch that because we were essentially under our own indoor home lockdown. Okay, I hear the baby crying. I'll let you know again after it's all worked out, after we see this afternoon the mausoleum and everything, how it goes. And so I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your support. Any support you have is greatly appreciated. If you want to offer any advice, tell me what it was like for you, anything, please go ahead. That's what this is for, you know. And thank you so much for watching. Again, bye-bye. Bye.